The brilliant yellow light of the African dawn spread over Kenya's Ol Pejeta Conservancy, carrying the familiar stillness of the savannah. But today, a sound pierced the peace, a whimper, thin and heartbreaking, unlike the usual hunting calls. Ranger Jack, who had devoted his life to protecting this land, was on patrol in his aging Land Rover. He was a weathered man, but his heart belonged to the creatures here. That cry, which sounded like pure despair, brought him to a halt. Following the sound through the thorny acacia bushes, Jack found a heartbreaking sight. It was a lion cub, perhaps 7 or 8 months old, severely emaciated and clearly malnourished. They called him Leo. Though exhausted, Leo's golden eyes burned with a raw intensity, accompanied by tiny, primal snarls as Jack approached. Leo was clutching an object, an old, tattered black nylon bag, pressed tight against his stomach. The animal used every bit of his remaining trembling strength to guard the flimsy plastic, ready to fight to his last breath. Jack had witnessed many wilderness tragedies, but this desperate clinging to a worthless object was bizarre, almost insane. He understood. This was not trash nor prey. It was something more sacred. What secret could be more precious than life itself to a starving predator? This cub wasn't clinging to hope. He was clinging to a memory. This was not just a rescue mission. It was a journey to find the answer to a broken heart. Leo's desperation made Jack realize he could not handle this alone. He quickly contacted Dr. Lena Hansen, an American veterinarian specializing in predator rehabilitation at a nearby reserve. Lena arrived within minutes, her eyes filled with bewilderment as she witnessed the scene. A starving cub dedicating all its energy to protecting a dirty nylon bag. They both agreed they couldn't leave Leo. He was too weak, and this obvious suffering required immediate intervention. The capture was incredibly difficult and inherently dangerous. Jack and Lena had to coordinate their strategy gently. Jack played the role of distraction, moving slowly and speaking in a calm voice. Meanwhile, Lena prepared a low-dose tranquilizer dart, ensuring Leo was sedated with minimal stress. Leo recognized the threat. His snarls escalated to furious roars, but he never lunged at them. All his focus was on the black bag. As the tranquilizer began to take effect, Leo fought the drowsiness. It was a final, frantic effort to hold onto the bag, leading to a short but agonizing struggle. Finally, as Leo succumbed to a deep sleep, Jack quickly, but carefully, pried the black nylon bag from his claws. The moment the bag was gone, the expression on Leo's sleeping face was one of profound loss, almost utter despair. After Leo was safely secured in a transport cage and headed to the clinic, Jack and Lena were finally able to examine the mysterious bag. It was heavier than it looked, tied shut with a mud-caked piece of rope. Lena used a scalpel to gently slice it open. They expected an old bone, or perhaps a discarded item from poachers. What tumbled out onto the dry earth made both of them freeze. It was a small, strange pile of dozens of leather collars in various colors and tiny metal tags. Each tag was crudely stamped with a number 01, 02, 03, and so on. The truth struck them like a physical blow. Leo hadn't been protecting trash. He had been guarding the tangible evidence of a relationship of a past. The astonishment peaked when they examined Leo's neck, hidden beneath his sparse mane. He was wearing a single, well-worn leather collar. The small tag on it read, 34. Jack and Lena looked at each other, silently grasping the terrifying realization. This bag contained the story of an unspeakable loss. Jack immediately recognized the initials stamped on the back of the small metal tags, A.K. Amani Kapranik. Amani was a former elder known for his compassion. Jack and Lena drove to Amani's modest homestead. Amani was initially confused. Then his face crumpled when he saw the black nylon bag and the pile of collars. He began to weep uncontrollably. He explained that a few months prior, Leo had been orphaned as a newborn cub during a massive storm. Amani, unable to let the fragile creature die, had brought him home and raised him alongside his dogs and goats. He named him Leo, Leo grew up believing he was part of the dog pack, protected and loved. He slept with the dogs, learned to play, and tried to purr like a cat. Amani explained. The collars were his sacred tradition, the bag of memories. Every animal he had ever loved and lost had a collar stored there, numbered in order. Amani continued. Leo had always been keenly aware of loss. Zola, Amani's oldest and dearest dog, who had also been Leo's surrogate mother, had passed away 3 weeks ago. Zola was Leo's inseparable companion. Amani had buried Zola near the edge of the conservancy. The next day, Leo vanished, and the bag of memories was gone. He didn't run away. Amani sobbed. He took his family with him. He was clinging to the only thing left of Zola, of all of them. He was guarding the graves. Despite the story being steeped in love, Lena and Jack had to confront the harsh reality of law and biology. They gently explained to Amani, Leo was a fast-growing lion cub. His fierce attachment to humans and his lack of innate fear meant he could not be released into the wild. He would not know how to hunt effectively and would become a danger to himself as he matured. Furthermore, continuing to harbor a large predator was illegal and unsafe for both Amani and the community. Amani sat in silence. He sighed, the grief evident in his eyes. He accepted the truth quietly. I knew this day would come, he said softly. I was just a lonely old man trying to hold on to a miracle. But I was wrong to keep him. Lena stepped closer, placing a hand on his shoulder. You gave Leo love, which is what saved him from death. But now we have to save him again by giving him back his wild nature. Lena presented the solution. Leo would be transferred to the Safe Haven Sanctuary in South Africa, a specialized facility for psychologically imprinted predators. It was not a cramped zoo, but a massive, natural habitat where Leo would receive lifelong care and, most importantly, be exposed to other rescued lions. He would have the chance to learn his species' social behavior, to eventually learn how to be a real lion. Will he be happy? Amani asked, his eyes seeking assurance. He will be safe, Lena replied firmly. He will have the best care, and he will be understood. We're giving him a home worthy of his nature. Amani nodded slowly, a decisive but painful gesture. All right, is the right thing for him. He had one final request. He took the black nylon bag from Jack. At the clinic, Leo was sleeping in a recovery cage after his medical check and 4 fluids. Amani approached and placed the bag right next to the mesh, near the sleeping animal's head. Just so he knows he is not alone, he whispered, until he gets home. In the days that followed, waiting for the complex international transfer procedures, Amani's home was steeped in silence. Jack and Lena worked tirelessly to prepare for Leo's
The cage mechanism
long
is
journey.
secure.
Every action they took demonstrated deep
little
respect
one.
for
You're safe
both
now.
Amani
Just
and
rest.
Leo, ensuring the transfer was humane and absolutely safe. They knew this was not just about moving an animal, but about reshaping the life of a creature caught between two worlds. Finally, after a long week of quiet anticipation, everything was ready. Leo had been safely transported to the Safe Haven Sanctuary in South Africa, a vast expanse of juniper trees and open sky. On a cool, clear morning, Lena's green truck pulled up to Amani's home. Leo is ready for visitors, Amani, she smiled. If you are ready for the drive. The trip lasted 2 hours, cutting across arid scrubland where vast conservancies bled into the rocky landscape. The sanctuary director, Dr. Eva Rusta, met them. Leo is an incredible animal, she said. Very cautious, very gentle, and he's particularly fascinated by the other lions in the adjacent enclosures. She led them to Leo's main enclosure, a spacious 3-acre plot complete with rocks, trees, and sun. Initially, Amani couldn't see Leo. He's up on a high rock, Dr. Rusta pointed out. It's his favorite spot. And there was Leo. He was magnificent. His coat was clean, wind-brushed, thick and shining. His muscles were powerful. He looked wild. He looked like he belonged. Amani walked slowly to the wire mesh fence. He didn't call Leo. That name belonged to another life. He just stood and watched. After a long while, the lion moved. He was looking out over the savannah. Then his tufted ears rotated slightly, and he turned his head. He looked down and saw the old man standing by the fence. He didn't startle, but recognized. Leo began to walk. He moved with a graceful power Amani had never seen when he was on his porch. He didn't run. He just strode. Leo stopped about half a meter from the fence, his golden eyes locked onto Amani's cloudy blue ones. He was no longer the desperate, suffering creature. He was a lion, confident and calm. "Hello, son," Amani whispered, his hand resting lightly on the wire mesh. Leo looked at him. He made no sound for a moment, then emitted a soft, deep chuff, the sound he used to make when he wanted his breakfast years before. He stepped right up to the fence. He turned his head and, in one perfect moment, pressed his broad forehead against the wire mesh, right where Amani's fingers were resting. It wasn't a house cat rub, but a gesture of final, silent, meaningful acknowledgement. Then he stepped back, looked at Amani for one more second, and turned away. With a powerful, easy leap, he bounded onto the rock face, disappearing from view. Amani stood there. Tears streamed down his face, but this time they were not tears of sorrow. "He is well," Amani whispered, his eyes fixed on the empty rock. "He is home. He is finally home." He stepped back from the fence, taking one last look at the wild, beautiful space that held a piece of his heart. He had lost his strange wild cat, but it had truly given him the one thing his love couldn't, his own world. Leo's story reminds us that love has infinite power. If you want to continue following moving stories, hopeful rescues, and gentle revelations about the natural world, please hit the subscribe button now and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the magic we share. Your support helps us spread light and faith.